Thank you so much. Great honor to be here. Madam Mayor, Mr. Linden, dear Olaf, dear Ursula, Mateusz, Roberta, dear colleagues, thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words about Ukraine. First of all, about Ukraine and our heroes and our soldiers and our children. Thank you very much. My appreciation. They are real heroes. Thank you so much. Thank you for Europe, which is now finally able to fulfill the dream that was laid at the basis of European unity. It is an honor for me to represent the Ukrainian people today, here, and each day. Millions of people who are fighting, working for our values and for our freedom and for our free Europe. All Ukrainians, each of our heroes deserve to stand here and to receive this award. But since the millions of people just will not fit in this hall, let our language, which represents all our people, be spoken here today. The Ukrainian language has never been spoken in these walls by the awardee. And now, when Ukraine is returning to its native European home, I believe that the Ukrainian language will be spoken here on many occasions from now, while recognizing special contribution to the European unity. Ukrainians will always make Europe stronger. You have to prepare. I will continue in Ukrainian. Technically. Thanks so much. Or maybe you began to learn. That's great news. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Усі, хто присутні в цій залі, усі, хто разом з нами захищає свободу і Європу. Усі ми більше, ніж лідери і політики, громадські
public figures and diplomats. We're all the founders of peace. Exactly founders of peace. This is our primary duty to our countries, to our Europe, and to our history. It is peace. It is peace that we will bequeath to our children and grandchildren as a legacy of today. We do not have and do not want any other alternative, but to leave peace as a legacy, we must reach the day when we can say that we're ending this war with our joint victory. Dear Europeans, history is built on victories, although it also remembers defeats. There have been illusions that there are other bricks for history than victories, but such illusions have resulted in the disappearance, or at best, many years of silence in history of those who profess them. Illusions turn into deaths. The peace of our parents' generation is the peace left to them by those who defeated the penultimate great aggression in Europe. And the peace of our children's generation is the peace that we are gaining now in the battles right now against the latest aggression in Europe. The battles are taking place and ongoing at a distance of more than 2,000 kilometers from Aachen, on the land of Ukraine, in our skies and the Black Sea, and in European destiny. This battlefield is the fate of Europe. Today's Russia has waged aggression not only against us as a free state, not only against a united Europe as a global symbol of peace and prosperity, but also against the past. By taking over kilometers of Ukrainian territory, Russia was trying to overcome years of European history, the history of ours, jointly, of the 73 years that the Charlemagne Prize has been awarded here. We're faced with an aggressor who's willing to commit any cruelty and meanness. We're faced with an aggressor who's willing to commit any cruelty and meanness, and to claim that history allegedly does not change, that it will be the same as it was before, and it will be the same again, as if whoever has the power has the territory, as if whoever is capable of greater meanness has more rights to Europe, as if civility is worthless. This is what Russia is manifesting with this genocidal aggression. We are faced with an aggressor for whom our common European aspiration for peace and rules means nothing, and who wants Europe to have something that no free nation, no honest leader, no one in this room will accept ever. You and I, we all are united in the belief that Europe and all other parts of the world should not be a place where the ambitions of tyrants destroy the lives of peoples. We must become winners, so that our view and we must become winners so that our view of life remains in Europe. Dear Europe, Ukraine offers you victory that will be peace and will save you. Ukraine offers a victory not just in this one war, but over aggressions, over annexations, over burning down these cities, deportations, the catastrophe of genocide, anywhere else on earth. We're offering and bringing closer a common victory over the one who has brought all this old evil from the pages of the past in order to destroy our future, which we all, the whole of Europe, dream of for our children. Russia has chosen the path of evil, of its own free will. Our will is enough to cut off this path and the path of any similar aggressors who might someday try to follow and Russia and repeat what Russia is doing. We will fulfill this task, all of us together. Dear Olaf, I'm personally addressing you and through you to the entire country, this potential nation of yours, Germany, Ukraine and the whole of Europe. We respect your choice to be for Europe, to be with Europe. When you saw the Zeitenwende, you acted as a defender of Europe should. Europe will always be grateful to you and to this German government. Grateful for your efficiency in helping Ukraine, for your and your colleagues' efficiency in defending your country, and for the strength that you and all of Germany give to Europe. Brilliant German irises have already saved thousands of lives of our people from Russian missile terror. Powerful German martyrs are helping to protect the lives of our soldiers as they put pressure on the Russian occupiers. Sturdy German leopards provide us with the protection we need. And it is very important that Germany helps not only militarily, but also with its leadership in the economy, humanitarian sphere and diplomacy. Last year, Ukraine presented its 10 points of our formula for peace, and I believe that Germany will be one of the leaders in its implementation in the same way. This Russian aggression continues on our land. It is our people who are dying every day in the confrontation with this evil, which, by striking Ukraine, strikes at the very idea of a peaceful Europe, at the very idea of a rules-based international order based on rules. We see the evil, we see it, and we see the evil of aggression very close up. And so we'll see the best way to defeat this evil, how to prevent its replication in other parts of the world or at other times. And we invite the world to join our just and fair principles of peace. Everyone who joins our formula of peace actually makes it their own. And I'm convinced that the Ukrainian formula of peace can become the German formula for peace, can become the European formula for peace, can become the world formula for peace. The only one who does not accept it is the aggressor. And that's why he does not accept that he is the aggressor. But the most important thing is that he's only one alone, and we're not afraid of him. And he does not accept it because he's not interested in peace. There were hundreds of rounds of negotiations between 2014 and 2022 in various formats with Russia after it occupied our Crimean Peninsula and after it fueled a hybrid war against Ukraine in Donbass. All these negotiations took place. And you, Olaf, Mr. Chancellor, and you remember that. And our ally, Mr. President of France, Mr. Emmanuel Macron, and all the conscientious leaders of the world spend hours and hours talking to Putin, trying to avert a catastrophe, this modern catastrophe. But Putin chose a disaster. Chose disaster. He alone. And now everyone understands what we understand. Putin is the catastrophe. That's the response. Putin is aggression. And he does not want anything else for himself and his people, anything else. But his formula has become death. What can we talk to him about now? How can you talk about it? In its long history, humanity has never known anyone who could negotiate with death. The one who brought death, the one who embarked on the path of genocide, the one who wants to destroy us, wants to destroy Europe, the Europe we value, must ask for mercy. And then our response to him will be the tribunal. Our common determination will lead to the fact that we will see also that Russia would show interest in our efforts for peace. This will happen, and that's when there is no source of death there. We're capable of winning, and we're bringing the victory closer. And this has been proven more than once by the tears of joy of children and adults, women and men, young and old, whom of our soldiers have liberated from Russian occupation. Everywhere where our blue and yellow flag returns to the liberated land, Europe returns. Our common Europe. The values come back. The values return that you, just like us, defended on your squares and enshrined in your constitutions. This is a fact that freedom for our people, whom Russia tried to enslave, is ensured by the bravery of our soldiers and the weapons, including yours, all of those who help us defend ourselves. That is why only weapons can stop death. And that's a fact. Therefore, we have to be firm and steadfast in support and help Ukrainian defenders. Very often, including here in Aachen, during the award ceremony of this prize, this honorable prize, it has been said that Europe should become one of the world's superpowers. Unlike other similar powers, Europe has this potential only when it is not something else but European unity that becomes a superpower. We see it now, the superpower of European unity. We see it thanks to Ukraine and thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you. We thank you. Your solidarity and leadership, dear colleagues, in particular your solidarity and leadership, Ursula, with which the European Union has responded to our courage, have reflected the basic principles that Robert Schuman, Konrad Adenauer and Jean Monnet wanted for Europe. They would be proud of each and every one of you who is defending Europe together with Ukraine. Ukrainian courage and your solidarity have given Europe have given Europe a unity it has never seen before. The time has come to consolidate the strength of our unity with the decision to join the European Union for Ukraine. And you know that Europe will not be complete without Ukraine in the European Union. And I thank you, Olaf. I thank every leader of Europe who supports the completion of the European project. There's no rational reason why our soldiers, who have fought so heroically and successfully for our common freedom, for our common values, are not yet in the same organisation as all other NATO soldiers. Judging by the results of our actions, Ukraine is already in the alliance, but the de jure decision has not yet been made. It is time to finally make this decision, and we need to define an algorithm for Ukraine's membership in NATO that motivates our soldiers. In addition to strengthening the entire Euro-Atlantic with the courage of Ukrainians, our joining the alliance will have another historic result. NATO flags next to Ukraine's on our eastern border will be the lock, powerful lock, that will keep Russian imperialism in the past forever. In the past, that cannot be returned, because without control over Ukraine, Russian imperialism is going to die. And one more prerequisite for our common victory, which Ukraine offers and proposes, the longest peace and the most reliable security in Europe has been ensured by building ties between the peoples of Europe instead of barriers. And when we see now that instead of strengthening our ties, any fresh barriers that are so reminiscent of old mistakes, whether they are barriers in politics or barriers in trade, then we see a threat not only to one European nation, but to the whole of Europe. Mateusz, I'm very grateful for the great support from Poland to Ukraine and for Ukraine. Thank you. And it's very important for us to keep this unity. Any spark of misunderstanding between anyone in Europe should not give rise to conflict. And this is in the fundamental interests of our nations. Europe gains in strength and prosperity every time there is a barrier subtracted on the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, today I've spoken only about what is needed for our common victory, and therefore only about what is needed for a sustainable peace for all of us. I dream of Europe becoming a winner. I know that Ukrainians can win. I call on all of you to become winners together with Ukrainians, together with us. This time has come. And it is now that it is decided how this war will end and whether this is indeed the last aggression in Europe. Everything depends on our unity. And only on this, on our speed, on our determination to win. So my appeal to you today is to be worthy of Charlemagne's character. Win. Establish peace, which will be the fruit of our common victory, and which we will leave to our children and grandchildren as the main heritage of Europe, our common heritage. And if anyone still has doubts about whether to support the Ukrainian people, please, here in Aachen or in any other city of our beautiful, free Europe, go outside. Please, go outside, look around you, and feel the main thing we want, the thing that gives us all peace and respect in Europe. Feel the freedom. It's just there. It's just there. And we are fighting for it. And we will be victorious. Glory to all our soldiers who are fighting for the sake of Ukraine at combat posts and in combat missions. Glory to all those who train Ukrainian soldiers. Glory to everyone who helps, who works, who fights. Ukraine will win. Europe will win. Peace will prevail. Glory to Ukraine.